What if I told you that even as MG continues to grow its reputation as a purveyor of EVs in Europe, it's been keeping a secret, and it's a whopper of a secret. A sleek, sexy, internal combustion sports sedan that might just be the best driving MG you can buy today. The sedan in question is the MG7, and it is currently only available in Vietnam, Middle Eastern markets, and here in China, where it retails for a little over 17 to a little under 25,000 US dollars, and you get a whole lot for your money. That begins with the best looking exterior styling of any MG on sale today, barring perhaps the wild Cyberster EV. I'm not a major fan of the gulping fish face on the front end of this or many other modern sedans. However, at least it blends in very well with this gorgeous green paint job. And you cannot deny the sinewy lines that run down the length of this 4.9 meter vehicle. Nor can you deny the gorgeous rear end, which combines wide hips with flowing LED taillights and 4 large exhaust tips. Now these are obviously fake, but inside are 4 real exhausts. All of that combined makes for the look of a sports sedan that I really want to drive. It's also a true liftback. 375 liters of space inside. That's on par with competitors like the Lincoln Co. 03 here in the Chinese car market. However, because it is a true liftback, the opening is much larger, so it's easier to take things in and out. MG made quite a big deal back in 2022 when this car debuted, saying that it was going to be the first in a new premium series of vehicles called Black Label. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, how can a vehicle be premium but cost a maximum of 25,000 US dollars? I think you're asking the right questions. Indeed, the interior of this car does feel higher end than something like an MG5 or an MG6. However, a luxury vehicle or premium vehicle, this is not. Still, for 17 to 25,000 USD, it's quite nice and quite sporty, especially because of the cool start-stop button right here. All MG7s come with a 12.3-inch center screen and a 10.25-inch digital instrument cluster, but only high-spec cars like this can get the 49-inch heads-up display. Speaking of high-spec cars, those come with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 8155 processor, whereas cheaper cars come with a unnamed but presumably computationally less potent processor. The MG7 has plenty of features, but it's also lacking certain features that I've come to expect after driving so many Chinese EVs. For example, the center screen at 12.3 inches is perfectly serviceable, but it's also on the small end for cars in this price category, specifically Chinese EVs. Those Chinese EVs also often have heated, cooled, and massaging seats, whereas this one only has heated front row seats. There's also no wireless charging pad. This is just a place to put your phone. Then again, it would be nigh on impossible to find a sedan of this size with this level of features for anywhere close to $25,000 in any market other than China. So I'll just say it's very nice. We're about to get to the driving portion of the video, I swear, but first we have to talk about the second row, and luckily there's not very much to talk about back here. Space-wise, you have a decent amount of leg room, and you can stick your feet way underneath that front seat, which is very, very nice. And because this is not an EV, the floor is not super high, though you do have a big hump right there in the middle. That's where the good news ends when it comes to space, because as you can see, I have very, very little headroom, and I'm not a tall guy. 1.75 meters or 5'9", and I've got barely more than a finger's width above my head. If you were to hit a yump or a speed bump at any significant speed, I would go straight into this roof. You've got a full down center armrest with cup holders and 2 Type-C USB charging ports. The MG brand might be all about electrification these days, but that does not apply to the MG7, which doesn't even come as a hybrid, let alone a full EV. You can choose between two turbocharged 4-cylinder powertrains, a 1.5 or a 2-liter. Those put up to 192 kilowatts and 405 newton meters of torque through the front wheels, and in the case of this high-spec car, an electronic LSD. The 1.5 uses a 7-speed DCT, and the 2-liter uses a 9-speed ZF Auto. I'll be honest, it was so much fun to get behind the wheel of the MG7 after driving so many Chinese EVs. First of all, you got an adjustable exhaust, which means that you can choose between having a quiet commuter car or a burbling performance sedan. The 0 to 100 of 6.5 seconds, you know, it's pretty pedestrian in this day of EVs, but the drama that you get from that very nice exhaust note is something that an EV simply cannot give you, even a really fast EV like the MG Cyberster. All MG7s come with a McPherson strut front suspension and a multi-link rear, but only this top-spec car comes with constant damping control. The difference between the ride quality in different modes, normal and sport and eco, well really normal and sport, is very different. Normal is much more comfortable and sport is much more jittery over rough pavement. The difference in body control through corners, however, not particularly noticeable between the different modes. The steering issue is quick, but the steering is pretty light and numb, feeling more like a regular sedan than a true performance vehicle. The pedal travel for both brake and gas is also really long. It feels like you have to press your foot through the firewall in order for it to give you everything that it's got. The overall driving experience, it's just not as sporty as something like a Lincoln Co. 03 Plus, let alone a Hyundai Elantra N. As a fun-to-drive commuter, however, it is awesome. Not only is it comfortable, it also has available NGP, or Navigation Guided Pilot. That means that when you're on the highway, it can follow the navigation prompts, including switching from one highway to another and automatically overtaking slower traffic. If I were to compare its performance to Chinese EVs, those systems are better than this. This one probably sits into the middle of the pack. But if I compared it to other ICE cars, especially other ICE cars this cheap, it's amazing. To me, MGs have always been about being sporty, affordable, family-friendly vehicles, apart from the roadsters of yore, of course. I think the MG7 fits very nicely into that mold, but it's obviously got some Chinese influence as well. I'm talking about the interior technology, the creature comforts, the very swoopy, somewhat complicated exterior design. Perhaps a more authentic British MG would have less technology, a more compact size, simpler exterior design language, but I'm not sure that that more British MG would actually be a better car.